Hi there, good evening. I am excited to really revamp Anointed Living and get started in making it more useful, not only to people on our team, but to all of you. So I just wanted to start out by sharing our story on this wellness journey. My name is Ashley Boyd, for those that don't know me, and I am 31. I'll be 32 this summer. I have two kids. Titus is 11 and Noelle is 7, and my husband Jason and I have been married for 14 years. We're high school sweethearts, and we got married very young. So just to dive right into my story, I do want to hear, I see some people jumping on here. I want you to say hi, tell me where you're from and all of that, but I just really wanted to introduce myself and to give you an idea of what kind of things I really want to share on here, and what direction we're going to be going with Anointed Living, so that you know what to expect and what we're going to be sharing, because we've been through a lot on our wellness journey. We've been through a lot of different things, trial and error that we've learned along the way. I grew up in a small town out in East Texas, and holistic wellness was not really part of growing up for me. It was very much, if something was wrong, then you went to the doctor. And so I did not grow up around, I did not grow up in a crunchy family or granola family at all. My family is very much just a normal run-of-the-mill. We ate, like most East Texans, a lot of fried food, and had a lot of good activity as a kid. Got some good exercise, played outside a lot, and ran around barefoot a little bit. But I come from a genetic background that's not super fantastic. I have a lot of diabetes in my family, obesity, mental health issues, depression, and things like that in my family history. So that's kind of the background that I'm coming from. And anytime that something was wrong or something was not right, the way that I grew up is that you went to the doctor and they were the ones that took care of that kind of thing. Nutritionally, handling things in a nutritional aspect or a natural way is definitely not the environment that I grew up in. So I got married young. My husband and I got married our second semester in college. And so we were 18 when we got married. And we finished college and got pregnant right away. And not on purpose, but on accident, and had Titus at 21 years old. And so we were young parents and very new to the whole just being adults and making our own decisions. So I was very much used to doing whatever doctors told me to do. And so that's how things went with Titus for the first 3 years of his life. At 3 years old, we got pregnant with Noelle. That was on purpose, and had her. And we started to notice Titus really had always had issues sleeping at night. Of course, being first-time parents, we didn't really know what was a major issue and what wasn't. We didn't know what was maybe a normal problem, or what was normal energy levels, or what was normal sleep patterns. We just kind of went with the flow. Well, what we were doing every night with our 3-year-old was battling him for about an hour and a half to get him to go to sleep, maybe 2 hours sometimes. And then he was up in the middle of the night every night with nightmares, with bedwetting, even up until 4.5, he was still in a pull-up for bedwetting and things like that. And just, even though he was completely potty trained during the day. And so we started to notice that he was having issues at preschool. I had started teaching at that time and was teaching at full-time middle school theater. And he was really struggling with paying attention, with having control over his body and his emotions. And so that was kind of an interesting journey to start to see other people, preschool teachers and stuff, go, you know what, he does tend to have a little bit more energy than what is normal. So we started doing, I was like, we're gonna go at this naturally. We're going to we're gonna eliminate the yucky stuff from our diet. We're going to eliminate high fructose corn syrup and the artificial colors and flavors. And so we started down that path, and we did that. Didn't really notice too much of a difference. Well, between the ages of 3 and 5, he only gained about 2 or 3 pounds. And we really started to notice some issues in his growth that were really concerning for us. So what we decided to do was, and by this time we already have Noelle, we've decided to go a different direction with Noelle, and we had her with a natural pediatrician. And so we decided to take Titus there and see what have a full spectrum done on his body. We had testing done to see if he had any parasites. That's fun. Let me tell you something. If you want to make your 5-year-old laugh, have them poop in a bowl so that you can send it in to a lab to see if they have any parasites and see what their gut balance is like. He thought that was hilarious. He really did. And then we did a full nutritional spectrum on him to see what his body was absorbing. We tested for food sensitivities and things like that. Came back, no food sensitivities. A few things were like on the very mild level, which really they don't even consider an allergy or sensitivity at all. But what we did find out is that his body was not processing proteins very well. His gut was inflamed, and so it wasn't breaking down his proteins, wasn't producing enzymes well, and so his body wasn't. Proteins break down into amino acids, which break down into neurotransmitters, which are, amino acids are the building blocks of muscles and growth, and they're also the building blocks of neurotransmitters, which is how our brain functions and communicates. So we started to make a lot of connections there. What we also learned is because of his gut damage, he was not processing toxins out of his body. He wasn't eliminating them. Everything that went into his body that was toxic was just going through his whole system. So one of the first things we started to do was eliminating all of the chemicals in our home. Quote unquote, all of the chemicals in our home. Oh my goodness, if you've downloaded the Think Dirty app, you know how absolutely ridiculous that is, because it's impossible to get rid of all of the chemicals in your home. And it's a little overwhelming when you're a mom with a newborn, because we had Noelle at the time, and you're starting to read all of the ingredients on the back of things. But that's really where we were. And so Young Living came along about that time, and I was super excited because I knew that they had chemical-free products. I knew that the oils could be used to make our own DIY type things and stuff like that. So I was really excited to be able to incorporate oils into what we were doing. And that was a learning process, but it was something that was really exciting for us at the time. So, and also using them for sleep. I mean, lavender helped so much with Titus with sleep. We started doing chiropractics with him. We did brain therapies. We did a lot of things early on. But I remember a really big turning point for us. And I want to tell you guys this right now. And the reason why it's on my mind so much right now is because it was about 5 years ago this time. About 5 years ago, I had already taken Titus out of preschool. He had been in a preschool at a school that I was teaching. I was teaching at a private Christian school, a job that I loved. I was teaching part-time. I'd gone to part-time teaching because I had Noelle, who was just a little baby. And I loved my job because the hours were great, and I was able to really be flexible but still do something that I loved. And Titus went to school there, and he lasted 1 week in kindergarten. Granted, he was a July birthday, so he was really young. And they said, we think he needs to move down to pre-K4 just for maturity reasons. So we said, okay. So we bumped him down to pre-K4, and then that entire year just spent so much time going back and forth with the teachers, with administration, about him and his struggles. His sweet, wonderful teacher was just a fantastic woman that loved him. She really did. But she was just beside herself. She did not know how to help him. And she said, I would just watch him. He'd go into technology lab. He's 5 years old, and he would sit on his hands. Because he knew that if he touched the mouse before he was supposed to, that he would lose it and he wouldn't get to participate. Because that was the rules in there. But it was so hard for him not to, that he would have to sit on his hands. She said, I watch him just wiggle his whole body, and then he leans over and starts licking the table back and forth. She said, he just has this energy in him that does not have anywhere to go. And so he can't help it. He's not trying to be disobedient. He's really, really trying hard. And she could see that, but he just couldn't control himself. So as we started to do BrainWorks therapies and see chiropractors and things like that, we decided to pull him out, because for me, it was a lot of pressure on me as a parent. I don't know if you guys have ever been there. Please tell me if you have. If you've ever been there where you just feel like, I am failing this kid. I'm failing this kid, and everybody sees it. And I have to explain to this person 1,000 times why we're doing things this way. And I'm not even positive that what we're doing is the right thing. And it just makes me second guess myself. I mean, talk about struggling as a mom. I really, really struggled during that time with what to do. And so we decided to pull him out of school and to homeschool him. So for that whole next year, I homeschooled him while still teaching part-time, which is fantastic. But it was his kindergarten year. I was like, he already knows everything he's going to learn in kindergarten. We have a fantastic year. When he's at home, he starts to thrive. He's doing great. But my kid is super duper social. If you ever meet him, he's 11 now. You'll know that. You'll get that pretty quick. He likes to chat. He's a lot like his mama in that way. And so he's really social. And I was like, I want to get him back into school. Homeschooling was not something we intended to do long term. Just because of his personality. I think it's fantastic when parents do that, and I have so many friends that homeschool, and it's fantastic. But for Titus, I knew he really wanted and needed to be around other kids on a daily basis. So it was about this time 5 years ago now. We were almost finished with our school year, and he was doing fantastic. And I thought, there is a small private school near us. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to take him up there, and we're just going to see how it goes. Maybe it'll be a good fit for him. I had some other friends that had their kids that went there that said it was great. So I did this. I took him up to the private school. He lasted 3 days. At the end of the 3 days, the head of the school called me in, and I sat down in there with him, or maybe not with him, but I sat down in there, and she said, he's not ready. He is hitting kids. He can't sit still. He's, not functioning well in the classroom. For a mom that had just spent a full year pouring into this kid and making all of these changes and feeling like we had done so much to help him, to hear that was really heartbreaking. It was really, really hard. This has been a tough journey, and it's a tough journey when you start to try to find what works and what's best for your family. So I got him, and I took him to the car, and I told him, buddy, this isn't going to work out. You're not going to go to school here. And then he started to cry. And I remember very distinctly just holding him, and he was so upset. While he was there, it was exciting, and that energy just flowed right through him. That overstimulation was just so much that whatever emotion he happened to feel at the time just came right out, whether that was anger or frustration, excitement, whatever it was, he couldn't contain it. So in that moment of holding him I just remember thinking, Lord, I don't know what we're supposed to do, but we've got to do something. And my husband gets filled in on all of this, and we're at kind of our breaking point. My husband is a very picky eater. I say that lightly now because he's changed so much over the last 6 years, but he is a salad to him is like just lettuce with Caesar dressing, like no other vegetables on it. He does not eat vegetables. And so changing our diet completely was something I knew he would have to be on board with. It wasn't something I felt like we could just do for Titus and not make all of us do. We were all going to have to do it together as a family. And so I knew Jason had to be on board with that. And it was this point that Jason went, we've got to really go with the diet change, like major. So we did modified paleo diet for him, very strict for about 5 weeks. And then we loosened up a little bit, and we're always strict at home and kind of balanced out. And really for about 2 or 3 years, that was the staple diet. We did not eat a lot of grains, except when we went out to eat. And even then we supplemented with enzymes. We really worked hard to do a lot of gut healing and focus on gut healing for him. And some supplementation for him with high antioxidant supplements, magnesium supplements, so that we could really work on getting that gut back where it needed to be, probiotics and things like that. That's when we really started to see change. So when people reach out to me and they're like, okay, well, what oil did you use? Guys, oils are icing on the cake. They're fantastic. They help him with focus, and they help him with sleep and things like that. But really, the foundational things were with our diet changes. And there were so many different things that we tried. And in all of that, and in the changes that we made for him, because our kids will drive us to do things that we will not do for ourselves, right? We've all seen improvements in our wellness. I talked about having obesity in my family, where, it's kind of been very natural for when women get pregnant and have kids in my family that they put on weight after that, and they don't really lose the baby weight. And that has not been an issue for me, not because I'm extremely athletic. That is still an area that I'm working on, guys. But I think it's because of nutritional options that we make and choices that we make as a family to eat a little bit healthier. I used to avoid fats all the time. I don't avoid fats anymore. Love good fats. Love avocados and eggs and butter and coconut oil. Oh my goodness. So I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit about our story, because where we are now today, Titus goes to public school. He is an AB student. He is a fantastic kid. He is super creative and he is energetic, but in a very positive way. His teachers talk about him having very focused energy. He still struggles with transitions in the hallway, but next year he goes to middle school, and that won't be a big deal as long as he gets himself to class on time, right? So a lot of it has been a learning journey for us. I'm just a mom, and I'm a mom trying to do the best for my family. This isn't about, legalistically cutting out every little thing and never enjoying life or enjoying good food. I mean, my grandmother makes some amazing rolls and coconut cream pie, so you bet on the holidays that those things I'm totally enjoying. It's about balance. My hair is bleached with chemicals. It is not naturally this color, with my roots this color. And so for us, it's about balance. And so that's what I hope to share with you guys, is just a little bit of what we're learning in our daily lives, how we're using different things, natural wellness products, but also just nutritional things and things that we're learning as we go through this journey, so that it can hopefully be an encouragement to some of you, because I know that it was moms that were ahead of me on that journey that encouraged me when we were at the bottom and going, I don't know what to do next, and I don't know what to try, and this all seems really overwhelming to me. So I want to thank you guys for being on this journey with us. I want to thank you for being an encouragement to us, and I hope that you enjoy it over the next 20 days during the weekdays, and maybe even every once in a while on the weekends. In the month of April, I'm going to be sharing every day a post about a product that I love. Some of it may be Facebook Live videos, some of it may just be a little post, but just how we're using different things throughout the week, or maybe just a little tidbit that we're learning about nutrition and fitness, which is something I'm going to be really working on personally. It's a personal goal I have for this year, is to really get in shape and be physically fit. And I know it's a goal for all of us, right? But thank you guys so much, and I hope that you enjoy this. If you have any questions, or if there's ever anything that you want to share, don't hesitate to message me or share it on if you think it's something that we would love or be interested in or love to share. Talk to you guys later.